Welcome back. So in today's lesson, we are going to be looking into quadratic formula. Okay, so quadratic formula is the second method to solve quadratic equations. The important thing about quadratic formula is that the equation must be in the form of ax squared plus bx plus c equals to 0. Remember from completing the square, that's my general form of a quadratic equation, as well as not only in that form, but it needs to equal to 0. That's the most important part. Okay. Now, the quadratic formula is basically this. I recommend for you to write this down. Okay. Quadratic formula is used when the quadratic equation is in the form of ax squared plus bx plus c equals to 0. Then the quadratic formula would be x equal to minus b plus or minus square root b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Okay, it's a good way, it's good to remember this formula because you'll need it for today. All right, important things to note about quadratic formula. First things first, as completing the square, some of the questions will ask you to leave it in surd or exact form. When they ask you for surd or exact form, this means you must leave it in its square root. Okay, if you've done completing the square, you'll be fine with this. Now, another thing is that you need to make sure that you simplify your exact slash surd form. Okay, you kind of did it in completing the square, but we're going to look into it again here. All right, let's go into our examples. We're going to go through two. Okay, solve the following equations using the quadratic formula. Leave answers in surd form. Okay, so square roots. X squared plus 5x plus 3 equals to 0. Okay, what I'm going to do is, as a little tip, write down the general formula of a quadratic equation. Okay, ax squared plus bx plus c equals to 0. Looking at this equation here, does it equal to 0? Yes. Does it look like my general formula that I've written up here? Yes. Okay. So now this is what I'm going to do. Okay. So I'm going to basically write down at the bottom what my A, my B, and my C is. Okay, because my quadratic formula has A's, B's, C's, and so on. So my A in this equation is going to be, my A is the number in front of the x squared. The number in front of the x squared is 1. Okay, so A is equal to 1. What's my B? B is the number in front of the x, a positive 5. Okay, and my C is going to be that positive 3. Okay, once I've written what my A's, B's, and C's are, I'm going to write my formula. Okay, x equal me to minus b plus or minus square root b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Okay, always write your formula so that you don't get lost and you don't have to move around. All right, so here I've got b as a positive, so I'm just going to substitute now. Substitute all my a's and b's into the formula. So minus 5 up here, plus or minus. I'm substituting and I'm showing you when I substitute using the brackets. Plus or minus square root 5 squared minus 4. This here is actually 4 times a, which is my 1, times 3, my c. Okay, all over 2 times 1, which is my a. Once you've done that, all we're doing is just simplifying it. But don't use a calculator for this one because it said in the question to leave it in surd form. Okay, so all I'm doing is this is going to be a minus 5 because negative 1 times 5 or positive 5 gives me negative 1, plus or minus 25 squared. Oh, sorry, 5 squared equals me to 25 minus 4 times 1 times 3, that gives me 12. Okay, all over 2. Okay, once I've done that, I'm just going to simplify even further. This -5, I'm not really doing much with it. Square root 25 minus 12, just to double check, is root 13 over 2. So my x equals me to -5 plus or minus square root 13 over 2. That's question A. Question B. 2x squared minus 2x minus 1 equal me to 0. Okay, same thing. I am going to write down what my A's, B's, and C's are. Okay, my A here is actually 2. This one here, positive 2. My B is not positive 2. My B is going to be -2. And my C is equal to -1. Then I'm going to write down my formula. X is equal to minus B plus or minus square root B squared minus 4AC whole squared, oh sorry, not whole squared, all over 2A. Now from here on out, substitute, simple as that. Minus 2 plus or minus -2 squared minus 4 times times 2 times -1. Okay. All over 2 times 2. Okay. -1 times -2 gives me negative. -1 times -2 gives me +2, plus or minus -2 squared gives me 4, minus 4 times 2 gives me 8, times -1 gives me -8. Okay, all over 4. Okay, let's simplify that even further. 2 plus or minus square root. This here turns into a plus, a minus and a minus turns into a plus. So 4 plus 8 gives me 12. Okay, all over 4. Now, this is not where I stop. I can definitely see that that square root 12 can be simplified. Okay, I can simplify it in the following. Okay, so I need to look for, in my times tables or my factors of 12, where it's a perfect square. One of them is going to be 4 times 3. 4 is a perfect square. So I'm going to break down that root 12 into root 4 times root 3. Okay, root 4 is going to give me the answer 2 times just root 3, because root 3 just gives me a decimal. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to transfer it. 2 plus or minus root 12 can also be written as 2 root 3 all over 4. Okay, now from here on out, can you see a highest common factor, something that I can cancel out? Yeah. So this 2, and these 2, this 4, if the numbers here that I've circled in each of the places like this has a common factor that I can divide it by, then I'm going to divide it. The common number that I have between 2, 2, and 4 is the number 2. So what's 2 divided by 2? It gives me 1, plus or minus 2 divided by 2 for this one here gives me 1. So it'll be 1 root 3 all over 4 divided by 2 gives me 2. So my final answer in the most simplified version in surd form is going to be that. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. If not, rewatch the video until you understand it. But other than that, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.